my name is Arshi. I'm part of the activity committee, specifically the Python 3 team, and I work on the slide decks that your lovely TAs use to teach you guys every week. So I hope you guys like this video. So this week you guys got an intro to JavaScript. You guys learned about buttons. You guys learned about using JavaScript within a script tag to create a function, and in that function using the alert function. And so we're going to put that into play here and hopefully break it down, because it might seem a little intimidating, but I'm literally going to be writing 2 lines of code, but it's going to do some really cool things, that's like the coolest thing about JavaScript, is that because it's interactive, there's so much scope with it. And before I start, I challenge you guys after this, besides the homework, go and make like a JavaScript like quiz, like a BuzzFeed quiz. That's one of the first things that I did when I learned JavaScript, is like all you need is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? Like you could literally create a web page, do CSS, pretty it up, and then you can use JavaScript and the button knowledge that you have, that I know you know, and create little like quizzes. I mean, that could be really, really cool. So try it, challenge yourself, get lost, and, whatever. And then maybe you could go to your TAs and ask them for help next week. But anyways, we're going to start. So I'm actually going to work backwards here. Well, at least I'm going to work backwards in my head, but I think it makes more sense this way. I'm going to actually write the function in the script tag. I'm going to start with that, because in the on-click button, you're going to be calling this function. So what function are you calling? You need to know. So we're going to create the function beforehand. So we're going to say script, and then it's a function, which is called, we're going to say it's show message, because that's what the alert function essentially does, is that when you click the button, this show message function is called, and the alert function is basically displaying something on the web page. It's basically to make sure that this button works successfully. It's saying, yay, the button works, and this message pops up, because on web pages, the button just leads you to another page. But this is really good for debugging and testing at different points of a larger piece of code or project. So this is a function called show message, and a JavaScript function, you do the 2 parentheses, curly brackets, press enter, and then inside this function, you're going to insert your alert function, and inside this alert function, you're going to have some sort of message. So I'm going to write, hello, you just triggered a JavaScript function, okay? And then make sure to close your script tag. I often forget closing my script tags, or just my tags in general, but don't do that because things won't work. So this is your function. And as you guys can see, nothing has actually happened physically on my web page, because we have just written a function. That function actually, it hasn't been called anywhere to do anything. So that's where we're going to create our button, our lovely button. So we're going to start the button tag. We're going to say it's on click. We're going to say it's equal to show message. So this is where we are calling our function. By writing this, we have officially called our function, and then we're going to write click me. I'm going to write click me because I want the user to click me, and we're going to close this button out, and now we can test it. I am going to stop presenting just for a second so I can share my entire window, because what this whole thing is doing is it's interrupting the entire web page, and I'm only sharing my tab right now. So let me just stop presenting for a second and share my entire screen. It's going to be it's going to be a lot for a second, but we'll get through it. So as you can see, I have this button and it says click me. So we're going to click it. Oh my god! Okay, so the entire web page has been interrupted with this dialog box, and in it, it has our message that we wrote. It says, hello, you just triggered a JavaScript function. And as you can see, it's a really great way to test do my buttons work? Have I written everything in JavaScript, like my function correctly? Is the function being executed properly the way that I want it to? So, yes, and I press OK, and it's great. And we're going to go back to just sharing my tab because that's a lot more cleaner. So basically, I just want to reiterate, on this web page, I created a button using regular HTML, very, very simple. The button says, click me, and when someone clicks it, something happens because I connected it, or I called the JavaScript function called show message. So if you think about the flow diagram, someone presses click me, then the show message function is called, and we go down to the show message function which is inside the script tag, and I basically told this button to run this function using the onClick attribute, and inside the function I used this alert function, and this alert function is a built-in JavaScript function that pops up a little dialog box with a message for the user, and in this case it says, hello, you just triggered a JavaScript function. So I like to think of it like a flow diagram, because my computer science teacher traumatized me with flow diagrams, and now I can't look at code any other way, especially when I'm helping people with it. But basically you have HTML button, user clicks it, this onClick runs, then this JavaScript function executes because it's called, and inside this execution you have an alert function which triggers this, which interrupts the entire web page. Then the user has to exit out of it by clicking OK, and then we're back to the web page. And you can keep going in circles with that, but you don't need to, because it's more about testing things and understanding kind of the fundamental code behind what we have just learned. So it's, again, 2 lines of code, but you can do a lot with it, and it's a really important piece to learn. So yeah,